Hi guys, you're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, and we're talking about something really fun. We're talking about goats, okay? You know I've got goats. I've done a couple of videos on my goats, and I'll attach those in the description below as soon as I get a chance. I'm on my way off to work, but I wanted to do like one last video or two before I left. And because I know people want shorter videos out of me, and that is totally acceptable thing to ask for. Thank you for, telling me. Someone said, I don't have time to watch super long videos, but I really enjoyed this of yours. And I get that. I get some people don't have more, 20 minutes. Some people only have 5. So I'm trying to do more like that out of these 2 books, which I just call like, coffee table books. Because oftentimes I will be in the house and just like open those books and get a couple small things read, and I'm like, wow, that was so interesting. I love that. Now I can't promise this video will be short because it's about goats and I have a lot to say on goats because I have them myself. However, I'm trying to put out more short videos. Bring it in, Jen, bring it in. So let's start by me saying that goats are excellent with children. So the babies wanted to be out. This is out because I have to watch the time. I've got my own little kind of like magic going on here. And then I have a little figurine of a goat. Goats are cool. But when they cry, when they talk, when they yell, it sounds human. So it's kind of freaky. I'll get him to yell in a video, but it's kind of like a like, yeah, Alex could probably do it better than me. But here's some pictures of my babies. So this is Maggie, and this is the cutest picture in the world. She's in the little, we have like a child's play area, and she's just sitting there in the hole. So cute. And right next to her is Zara, I believe. And then here is Zara eating some sort of a leaf. Probably one she's not, no. If Alex took the picture, it's one that's allowed. And there's Zara again, eating some leaves. We have collars on them because we walk them. And when we walk them, I think people think that they're like little... Someone asked us before, is that a reindeer? I'm like, no, it's a goat. Here's one of their other pins. And this is a big, like, industrial street sweeper, and they love to scratch on that, and they have so much room. So they have 2 different areas that we have for them. And then the last 2, I'm gonna just omit my daughter from the picture. But there's Alex and Rosemary, I think. And see how good they are with children? This is when they were little babies. Just little babies, and we had to milk them with bottles, with like the mother's milk from the farm. We got that, and then we got bottles, and then after that we fed them with goat's milk, and we fed them in our arms with little bottles. And that's the only reason why we didn't have goat babies this spring, because we've had the goats 3 years now, so they're ready. But we didn't have goat babies because we don't live there so close to my mother anymore, and they need so much attention, and my parents are older. So anyway, someday we will have goat babies, but I just really love this picture of Maggie, and that's totally her. She's such a dork. But they're Alex's goats. They're his absolute pride and joy. He goes to see them every single day out to Peggy's. So now we're going to talk about what I got out of the books on goats. I didn't find anything in the Raven G, but I did find a few things in this witch book by Raymond Buckland. And you guys know that author, I'm sure. He's done lots of stuff. So just starting with G for goats. I had the page ready, but then guess it was in this book. My apologies, it was. I found something else in this book, though. That's what happened. So goats, what do you guys know about goats, and do any of you have goats? Have you petted one at like a petting zoo area? They're just so great with children. Ah! Okay. So goats. Goat is a symbol of power, independence, and fertility. The female goat is a symbol of nurturing, while the male goat is a symbol of virility and sexuality. There's a big difference between male goats and female goats, okay? The Inquisition often accused witches of copulating with goats or with the Christian devil in the form of a goat. The goat foot god, Pan, is half human and half goat, symbolizing the two natures of the higher and lower self, the primal nature and the intellect. Ancient deities with goat horns are found throughout Europe, from the ancient Aegean Mediterranean to Gaul and Britain. In the ancient art of Old Europe, dating from as early as 5000 BC, the goat is associated with the moon as one of the simulators of the life force that protects the lunar cycle and planet growth. In this, we see the stirrings of the theme of the goat horn god as a consort to the moon goddess. The Gaulish god Mercury appears with the goat at the shrine of Gallum in Provence. Kronos, the antlered god, is pictured with goat legs and riding a goat. Some creatures in folklore appear wholly or particularly as a goat, like the Irish Boanach, the Manx, or the Scottish half-woman and half-man, Ursuline, Glastic. Some relatively benign goat-like creatures also exist in folklore, such as the Irish puka or pucka, that takes its name for the word pock, meaning a he-goat. Goats were sacred to Zeus, who was suckled by the goat Alametha. The skin of Alametha became Aegeus, the protector and preserver, and her horn was the cornucopia, the symbol of abundance and plenty. The wild goat is sacred to Artemis and is an attribute or form of Dionysus. Dionysus. Sorry. Satyrs are half goats with goat's horns, very much like the god Pan. Okay, so that's what we got from that, and I think that's it, because in here I wanted to talk about, so obviously I'm trying to pull like goat things into this video, and I want to talk about something that used to scare me a lot, but now I just see it as another god you could work with in witchcraft. And we're going to talk about Baphomet, okay? If you guys don't know Baphomet, I think it's a really beautiful piece of art. And there's a lot of interesting symbolism on there, and if you want, I could go into a symbolism video on that and just do a little like 4-minute video on the symbolism. But right now, let's just talk about what we find in this book by Raymond Buckland, The Witch Book, the Encyclopedia of Witchcraft, Wicca, and Neo-Paganism. Okay, so Baphomet. In 1307, one of the accusations leveled by Philip IV of France against the Knights Templar in an effort to lay his hands on their enormous wealth was that they worshipped an image of the form of a human skull named Baphomet. Suppose... Where's the word going to connect to? Suppose type used to promote fertility. Right? Count Goblet suggested that it derived from primitive physician living images of the goddess as narrow triangle by the crossbars plus an oval head. Ancient Egyptian word Ankh means both life. Is it still on Baphomet? It is not. Well, up until I showed this picture, we were all on Baphomet. So the page got ripped out of the book, or that's the end of it. I don't know. But basically, you guys, it's just another god to worship in the classification of witchcraft. And I could do a short video on kind of the symbolism and add that to it. But also in this book, it talked about, you know, some other gods that look very goat-like. So the goat, to me, if it was added to something, half human, half goat, would be a symbol of love and kindness and, yes, fertility, because goats are a very fertile animal. They definitely, when left together, both male and female, they reproduce, and it happens very quickly, and they're such loving mothers. So if I were to see that as part of something, an image or folklore or a fairy tale or a story, I would see it as nothing but like love. Again, these guys are so loving, and they're so sweet, and they're so good with children and protective, and they're such a cool animal to have around if you're doing witchcraft. When I'm foraging, they come with me, and in my trampoline video, they're right up there with me. They try and go under it, and then I have to stop, but they just love to play, and they're such cool, fun animals. They get up on their big wooden spools that we have that are gigantic wooden spools that are meant for cable wires, for telephone wires. And they get up there and they just like jump and they play and they, you know, crash into each other. Really interesting thing to note too. This is why the goat's horns have to be removed right at birth. Because when they play, they charge their head into the other one's stomach. That would be it. You puncture a lung, you get the heart, and so it may seem cruel that the horns are burned off when they're very, very young with a brander. They're branded off, the little buds. And it, you know, I've never seen the process done. I'm an empath. It would rip my soul out. I mean, I would literally be in bed for days if I heard, oh, I don't even want to think about it, and I'm going to stop. But that's why they have to brand the 2 points where the horns will bud, is because they would just puncture each other, because they just love to play and they love to do that. They're not running at each other when they're little to hurt each other. In nature, if they were fighting over a female or, I don't know, food or something, they sure would if it was a dire situation. But when you just have them at your home, they're one of the most loving animals. They just try and eat your buttons off of your shirt or lick your hands and they'll jump up on you. They're just such sweet girls. We have 3 girls. Maggie, Zara, and Rosemary. Maggie, my mother-in-law picked the name because she just kind of like at the last minute when we went goat shopping said she wanted a goat too. So we got her one, or she got one, and it lives at our house. So that's cool. She helps out with the cost of that, and that's very helpful. And then Zara is named after Alex and I's very favorite show, British show, Peep Show. And if you haven't seen it, man, I should have worn my Super Hands shirt. I love those characters. But Zara, do you know who Zara is in Peep Show? She is just one of Jez's girlfriends. And she's so gorgeous. She's so cute. She has this little black bob kind of curly hair and these little glasses, and she's a total nerd, and Jez has to pretend he's a nerd too, and like super intellectual, and that's so hard because Jez is so not. Anyway, we named her Zara after that, and then Rosemary I named kind of for two reasons. We wanted milk from the goats, and rosemary goes so well with like goat cheese with chef. And then also Rosemary's Baby. I'm just like one morbid sister, I guess. Those goats are the safest that they'd ever be, but I like to take names from movies and television shows and then add them to my pets and animals in real life, and also my taxidermy, my dolls, and my spirited, mannequins and such. So thanks for coming and joining me for the goat video, you guys. Sorry that I ended up reading a little bit of the wrong page, my bad. Again, we're trying to do some shorter videos, and I will get those coming out from these books. We'll just have like more snippets, and that comes from a British TV show too. I got that word, and I use it a lot from the IT crowd. The Irish guy says it when he's trying to keep them out of the closet when they're trying to hide that goth guy they keep in there. Anyway, don't go in that closet, Jen. It's just full of snippets. Bye, you guys.